A quiet night in a small town takes a horrifying turn when an encounter with a police officer leaves a young black woman scarred, both physically and emotionally. What starts as a routine stop spirals into an abuse of power that shocks the community. But this isn't just a story of injustice, it's a story of resilience, courage, and one woman's fight to expose a corrupt system. The officer thought he could get away with his actions, but he didn't count on her strength or determination to seek justice. As she embarks on her journey to hold him accountable, secrets buried deep within the department begin to surface. With each step, she gains unexpected allies, and the stakes grow higher. How far will she go to take on the system that tried to silence her? Stay tuned to uncover the twists and turns of her powerful quest for justice. The story begins to unfold as we learn more about the woman at the center of it all, Maya, a bright and ambitious nurse who had always believed in doing the right thing. On the night of the incident, Maya was driving home after a long shift when the officer pulled her over without explanation. At first, she thought it was just a routine stop. But his tone quickly turned hostile, and what happened next would change her life forever. The officer, known around town for his aggressive behavior, used his position to intimidate and harm Maya, leaving her with both physical and emotional scars. She reported the incident immediately, but the initial response from the department was cold and dismissive. It seemed like no one wanted to listen, but Maya wasn't the type to back down. With every passing day, her determination to uncover the truth only grew stronger. As Maya started to speak out, she realized just how deep the corruption ran. The officer's behavior wasn't an isolated incident. There were whispers of other victims who had been too afraid to come forward. Some of them contacted Maya anonymously, sharing their own painful experiences. Each story fueled her resolve to take action, but it also painted a grim picture of a system designed to protect its own at any cost. Meanwhile, the officer, emboldened by years of unchecked power, tried to discredit Maya, spreading lies about her character. It seemed like the odds were stacked against her, but Maya found unexpected support in her community. A local journalist, intrigued by her story, started digging into the officer's record, uncovering shocking details that could blow the case wide open. As Maya and her allies gathered evidence, the pressure on the department grew, but every step closer to justice put Maya in greater danger. As the investigation gained traction, the walls around the corrupt system began to tremble. The journalist's findings were explosive. Documents showing the officer's history of misconduct, buried complaints, and internal cover-ups. Maya, armed with this evidence, filed a formal case against the officer and the department, demanding accountability. The story started making headlines, drawing the attention of activists and legal experts who joined forces to support her. But the fight was far from over. Maya faced relentless intimidation. Her car was vandalized, threatening letters appeared in her mailbox, and even her closest allies warned her to be careful. The officer's defenders tried to smear her reputation, twisting the narrative to paint her as a villain. Despite the mounting pressure, Maya stood firm. The court date loomed closer, and the stakes had never been higher. Would the truth finally come to light, or would the system silence her once and for all? Just as Maya thought she had the evidence to expose the officer and the corrupt department, a new twist shook her confidence. A key piece of evidence, a video from a nearby security camera, suddenly went missing. The footage, which had captured the officer's actions during the encounter, had been tampered with. Maya and her legal team suspected someone inside the department had erased it to protect their own. This setback sent a ripple of doubt through Maya's supporters. Some began to fear that the system was too powerful to fight, but Maya refused to back down. Determined to keep going, she turned to the community for help. People began stepping forward with more proof, including a retired officer who had witnessed corruption firsthand, but stayed silent for years. His testimony added a dangerous new layer to the case. As tensions escalated, Maya's fight for justice became a battle for something even bigger: change. The courtroom was packed on the day of the verdict. Maya sat at the plaintiff's table, her hands trembling but her gaze steady. Her lawyer presented the overwhelming evidence, testimonies, reports, and even fragments of the tampered video that a tech expert had managed to partially recover. The officer's defense wavered under the weight of the truth, but the tension in the room was palpable. As the jury deliberated, Maya braced herself for the outcome. When the verdict was finally read, the officer was found guilty of misconduct, abuse of power, and tampering with evidence. The department was ordered to undergo a federal investigation, sending shockwaves through the town. But just as Maya thought justice had been served, a new twist emerged. The retired officer revealed a larger network of corruption involving higher-ups in the police force, suggesting this was only the beginning. Maya's fight had won the battle, but the war wasn't over. In the weeks following the verdict, the town began to change. The federal investigation uncovered years of misconduct, leading to the resignation of several high-ranking officials. Community members who once felt powerless started coming forward, sharing their own stories and demanding accountability. Maya's courage had sparked something much bigger than she ever imagined, a movement for justice and reform. Though the journey had been grueling, Maya found a sense of peace in knowing she had made a difference. She returned to her work as a nurse, but now she was also an advocate, helping others navigate their own fights for justice. The retired officer who had come forward became a key figure in the movement, proving that it was never too late to do the right thing. Maya's story ended not with vengeance, but with change, a reminder that even in the darkest times, resilience and truth can light the way forward.